last lesson, we met an accountant and an economist, and they had a lively debate over what should be considered cost for a business. We discovered that economists include as cost items that an accountant typically does not include, such as the value of the owner's time. The concept of cost that economists use is called opportunity cost. It includes all the accounting costs, but also includes other costs, such as missed opportunities. Eric's business is growing, and he's getting more customers. How will he build enough cars for all these new people? He could work longer hours, but that would mean missing out on some of the fun things he likes to do. That's the opportunity cost of Eric's time. What else can he do to build more cars? What's this? Eric has hired his friend Naomi. She will help him build more cars. Good thinking, Eric. Naomi pitches in right away, doing the same things Eric has been doing. She puts on wheels, she puts on headlights, and she puts on steering wheels. There's plenty of room and enough tools that they do not get in each other's way. They produce the same number of cars per worker as when Eric was working alone. Eric would like to know how profits are going. Well, what kind of profits does he want to know? Accounting or economic?
Big accounting, big accounting.
Deep down, you know what's really important. Economics. 1, 2, 3. Chainsaw cuts plastic, I win. Ooh, ooh.
Oh, all right.
We know from previous videos what it costs to make one car. So now let's see what it costs to make two cars. As we did before, let's do our calculations on a daily basis.
The rent for the yard is still the same. 10 pieces per day.
Don't forget the opportunity cost of the tools. You need that to calculate the economic profits.
I won't forget. The tools also cost the same, so they are 20 pieces per day. We need the same amount of supplies per car, 50 pieces per car, or 100 pieces for 2 cars. We have to include Naomi's salary per day. Naomi, how much is Eric paying you? I'll put you down for 30 pieces.
Don't forget the opportunity cost of Eric's time.
I was getting to it. Eric and Naomi do the same work, so that is an additional 30 pieces for labor, making a total of 60 for 2 cars. If we add 10 for the yard, plus 20 for tools, and 100 for supplies, and 60 for labor, that totals 190 pieces for 2 cars. Since Eric sells the cars for 100 per car, his total revenue is 200 pieces. 200 pieces in revenue minus 190 pieces in cost means you have a profit of 10 pieces.
And that's economic profit, not just accounting profit. You are not profitable making 1 car a day, but you are profitable making 2 cars a day. Because of spreading fixed costs. When building more cars, Eric had to increase the amount he spent on supplies and labor. Costs that increase when production increases are called variable costs. But some costs are fixed. They stay the same even when Eric ramps up production. For the moment, we'll assume that it is not feasible for Eric to change the size of the yard or the number of tools. That means the yard is fixed, and so are the tools. To think about spreading fixed costs, it may be easier to think in terms of averages. Let's say the total fixed cost from the yard and tools for a day is 30 pieces. If Eric builds 1 car in 1 day, then all the fixed costs for that day would be included in the cost of making that 1 car. The average fixed cost would be 30 divided by 1 equals 30. If instead he built 2 cars in a day, then the fixed cost would be shared between the 2 cars. The average fixed cost would be cut in half. 30 divided by 2 equals 15 pieces per day. To think about it in another way, when Eric doubled the number of cars he built, his revenues doubled, but his costs did not, which allowed him to become profitable. The same thinking does not apply to variable costs. Fixed costs remain the same with increases in production, but variable costs increase with increases in production. In Eric's case, when he doubled the output, his variable costs also doubled. 80 divided by 1 is equal to 160 divided by 2, so the average variable costs remain the same. If all of Eric's costs had been variable, and they had doubled with the doubling of the output, then producing more cars would not have increased his profitability. It was the spreading of fixed costs that allowed for the reduction of average cost, and thus greater profitability.
However, in the next video, we will talk about a case where average variable costs might actually go down when output goes up, due to a phenomenon known as specialization.